And 12 News is dedicated to covering the state of education across Arizona. An abrupt announcement from the White House is causing concern for Valley educators. Earlier this month, the Trump administration announced that it is terminating a federal grant that supports schools in low-income neighborhoods. In fact, the funding ends this month.
But as Joe Dana tells us, the newly elected Maricopa County superintendent is fighting to keep the program and says all of this is a misunderstanding.
We're seeing an aggressive push by the Trump administration to end federal funding for programs perceived as having a liberal agenda. In this case, it means several Valley schools will lose federal funding for teacher support staff beginning Friday. The Trump administration announced the U.S. Department of Ed is terminating $600 million in grants to institutions that train teachers and education agencies on divisive ideologies, including diversity, equity, and inclusion, social justice activism, and more. The cuts include a $4 million annual program overseen by the Maricopa County School Superintendent's Office. It was scheduled to run for another year and a half. It serves 4 school districts. These are the positions losing federal funding beginning Friday. 6 administrators and coaches who work both in and out of the classroom, and 13 specialists in the classroom supporting teachers to get kids caught up in core subjects. The newly elected superintendent, Shelley Boggs, says the problem is the previous superintendent used what she considers politically divisive language in the application for the grant, the kind of philosophy the Trump administration says they want to eradicate. But her office tells me the actual program is not political and, quote, the work being done through this grant aligns perfectly with the mission of this office, getting students back to basics with a strong foundation in reading, writing, and math. Boggs herself campaigned as a Trump supporter, and she has filed an appeal to the Trump administration to keep this grant in place. And in the meantime, her office says they have secured county funds to preserve positions through June. That's the good news. Now, whether this program survives after that may depend on if Boggs can get the White House to listen to her appeal. Boggs has an in. This is her earlier this month at the White House, visiting with the new education secretary. Joe Dana, 12 News.
All right, Joe, thank you.